Here we are, back together again. It's time to talk about the issues at hand. You say what you say, just say what you feel. It's Sadior.
And regular conversations with regular people. There's no experts here. So everybody's opinion is validated. Okay?
It's an open conversation.
Welcome to Open Conversation, a regular talk show for regular people. A different talk show than you've ever been a part of. This is a real thing, open conversation. I'm your man, your host, Simply D. I'd like to introduce you to my other two co-hosts.
It's your girl Liz. What's up, everybody?
And Marvin, the fast lane to home ownership.
Today we're going to be talking about role models of the lack thereof in the community. We have some special people in the studio again with us today that we'd like to introduce themselves to you, starting on my right.
Calvin Cannon.
Comedian Malcolm Hill.
Dominique Devon.
Kev Johnson.
And sitting at the table with us on the end of Mr. Fastlane Home Ownership is none other than one of Philly's own Philly housewives.
I'm Nafisa, y'all, also known as West Philly.
Yeah, West Philly.
Okay.
In the
That's
house.
what we call it, West Philly.
So we want to talk about role models. The lack of, and I would say the lack of, because I don't see any in my community. So let's jump into this.
Growing up,
The reason why I believe
What do you mean?
Go ahead, Malcolm.
the reason why I think there's a lack of role models is because a lot of the kids, of course, we want money. So the only people we look forward to that has money is Jay-Z, basketball players,
Right,
football players. So those are the role models because that's what kids say that's where we can get the money at instead of your father working at, wherever, regular store. You don't look towards them as a role model. You look to him as like he's weak or he's soft. I want to look like Jay-Z or one of them because they got the money. So that's where they look for their role models to be.
All right, I agree with that.
So, okay.
Because that's where the real money's at,
Let
not at the
me-
supermarket.
Let me process
Not
this.
supermarket.
So, I have my own theories on why we have a lack of more role models in our community. But, so you're saying because, videos or,
The videos, the cars, the videos, the women, everything. That's what they look
So they don't see that, their dad gets up every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, works till
No.
6 p.m., come home a
No.
little dusty,
They feel as
dirty.
though that's not good
They
enough.
don't,
They'd rather be Jay-Z or one of those as a role model.
Getting easy money because they don't
Easy
see the
money.
hard. They don't see the hard work that
That comes
maybe
into
Jazzy is putting in the
Jay-Z putting
studio
in,
and
yeah,
stuff
they don't
like
see the
that.
hard work that he's putting in.
Or the
Right.
basketball player who's on
Right.
the basketball court after the lights and everything go off and things of that nature. They see the glorified person on stage with the jewelry
Right.
and the cars and all
Right.
that. So to them it's fast money. So that's what they want. They don't want to put in the hard work.
Yeah.
To them, somebody who gets up and do a 9 to 5 is working a sucker's job.
Well, let me say, I beg to differ with y'all. Because I don't think the kids in the neighborhood are just looking at Jay-Z. I don't think they're just looking at the athletes because in the neighborhood you see more than that. You see the guys, the drug dealers in the neighborhoods that's pushing the fly cars, got all the women, got all the money, flashing money. And it's like, well, what are you doing to get it? They don't know what they're doing to get it. They just see what they portray. And it's a lot going on. And these kids, because these are their old heads. These are the people that they talk to. You can't talk to Jay-Z. You can't talk to LeBron James. But you can talk to Ricky down the street because Rick got the fly cars. He got all the chicks. And he getting the money. So they talking to him and it's like, well, look, shorty, you do this, you do that, you do this, and I'll put you on. I got you. And they throw him a couple dollars, and the kids is like, man, I can go get me a pair of new sneakers. My man, he gets sneakers all the time. He got hundreds of sneakers. I went up in his crib, he got hundreds of sneakers. And those are the guys that they looking at more than anything. Which is why these kids are really so darn lost right now. Because the ones that are so-called looking after them really don't have their best interest because they didn't have nobody that was really in their corner.
Well, that's what I was
them.
going to say. Like, I feel like, and I've said this before, you know, it's you got kids raising kids. You know what I mean? You got 16-year-old daddies, 15-year-old mamas, 14-year-old mamas. You know, grandmama's only what 24. I don't even know if that's real, like can happen, but it seems like it can, because so that's what they know. Like, you know, my mom was young when she had me. Okay, fine, but I grew up in a 2-parent household with a bunch of older aunts and uncles. Like, I didn't see that. Yes, I saw the drug dealers in the neighborhood and all that stuff there, but I was taught some morals. I was taught, you know, education, things like that. Now, it's like Marvin said, the kids don't have that example. Like, the stuff that I hear when I'm on the bus from these kids, I'll be like, are you serious? They say words that I don't even say. I'm like...
A lot of that also comes from, like you said, is the parenting. You know, just like Marvin hit on, you know, if you come outside your house and you see Ricky here, and Ricky's been here all day long on this corner, but still, Ricky's still pushing this 2014 vehicle and, you know, got this girl and that girl. It comes from the parenting to will those kids back in and say, hey, look, yeah, that looked real good for Ricky. But when the police come, why aren't you out there watching them arrest Ricky and see where Ricky's
kicking
going?
in Ricky's
you know?
door.
So, you know, that's the stuff that we have to push out there, because as a child growing up, we all get that fantasy. We all come out and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to be rich. You know, and I'm going to be rich doing it this way, not doing it the way I see my mom and dad doing it. But it's the consequences that we need to expose a little bit more so the children can see that. So we can will them back in and say, hey, listen, you want to be Ricky? That's fine. You might go to jail and be pretty Ricky in a minute.
Oh.
You follow what I'm saying? So it's the consequences that we need to show them so they can see. It's like like you never see a retired drug dealer like sitting back there. I got this money.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like I retired off this and I got this house.
Yeah,
Cops know about me. I got this big house. And you never see him retired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, back to your original question, why do we have such a lack of role models? In my opinion, men have just dropped the ball. Period. They've sold out. They got every excuse in the book as to why they can't do the right and accepted thing. It is so much more rewarding when you achieve as opposed to obtain than anybody could fathom. It's just like I have a saying that nonfiction is stranger than fiction will ever be, because the truth in your conscience just can't imagine. You just can't really accept, damn, did that really happen? Did that really happen? Did somebody just, you know, just get their hair blown off and the dude just sat back down next to him? The fact of the matter is, men walk around all the time, as far as I'm concerned, with this mentality of, I got the whip, I got the rock, I got the house, I done what I needed to do. Everybody in here eating, everybody got clothes on their back, everything's good. Well, the fact of the matter is, that's only part of it. You have to teach, you have to ingrain, you have to put this knowledge into a child's head. Listen, just like he said, you can see Rick with all this on the corner, you can see all that, that's great. But what you don't see is when he go home and close his door. They banging it down. Or he's sleeping with a piece up under his bed, because he up under his pillow.
Or he got somebody, you know, another rival drug, whatever, you know, plotting on him to kill him and his whole family. Like that whole lifestyle. Like, I don't want to focus on the drug dealing aspect, because it's a very real part, you know. But I just feel like it goes back to what you're taught in your household. And we can't expect a 16-year-old girl or boy to teach that 1 and 2-year-old child that they done made at the age of 14 how to think about education, how to think about, you know, when you walk out that door, you need to be going to school. I know for me and everybody in here, maybe except for you, yeah, I'm sorry. But lights on, you was on your porch. Like, it was no running around the neighborhood at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and not where I grew up in.
Right.
Like, you know, like, we grew up around the corner from each other. You didn't see that, and it was the whole neighborhood raised that child. Because I remember the neighbor around the corner beating me, or taking me back around snitching, and then getting in the house and getting still a punishment. You know what I mean? Like everybody just goes in their house nowadays and close the door and shut out the rest of that world. You have technology where you got kids playing computer games 12, 13 hours a day when they come home from school, violent games or racing cars. Like, it's just, it's sad. Like, I really am scared for this generation.
Well, I blame the parents though, because
Yeah.
a lot of times that us as parents and we give our children too much too fast.
Yes.
And instead of making them earn it,
Right.
if Junior comes home and he got a C and a D, we talk about it, but then at the same token, another half hour, he's still back in his room playing that video game.
Right.
And we should take those things away. Say, hey, you know what? I want to see A's and B's. So
Right.
it won't be no video games. It won't be no going outside riding a bike. You won't have an opportunity to see Ricky on the corner because you can't get this right.
Right.
So you're going to be in the house and do the things that you need to do. So I think that we need to be a little bit more aggressive of not giving things away so easy to our children.
Right.
Because we're telling them that it's easy to do this.
See, the average person wants to make money fast.
Right.
They don't want to work hard to get to those steps. So, like, a lot of people gamble, play cards, thinking, I'm going to get all this money right now. I'm not going to work every day. I'm going to play this lottery every day because I'm not going to work every day. I need this money today. So nobody's going to go through the steps to get, the hard work to get to the money where it's always coming to you. Somebody,
But they did that back in my days too. I
see,
stayed going to get lottery tickets
But what
and the bootleg numbers and stuff like.
What has changed is the respect factor. Back in the day, you would see the fathers in the community out and about, chastising the kids, checking the kids. You don't see that anymore. In our neighborhood, we had a dude by the name of Mr. Winston who stood out. Remember Mr. Winston?
Oh, yeah.
He was a father of maybe 7 or 8 of his own, but then he was also the father of the kids in the community and on our block. He would check you if he caught you doing something wrong, and he would stand up for you if you were doing something right. So we don't have that anymore. Everybody's so caught up in their own little world and what they're trying to accomplish and what they're trying to do. They can care less about the next person. So that's what we don't have anymore. We don't have that respect.
I think it's I think it has a lot to do with self-preservation. People like being like now, because times are it's getting harder and harder. People have to provide for their own family. You can't really go out in the community and take little kids out. You can't really go out and show them this is how you do it, because you're trying to show your own. You're trying to show your own. You're trying. It's self-preservation.
Right.
I think another thing that we're missing here, a key element as to what we're missing, why people don't trust their kids around strange folks or people in the neighborhood, is real simple. I mean, you take and you put your trust in these people, and I'm going to use this guy. I'm going to leave him nameless, but the guy was a basketball coach for one of the local sports teams. This guy was looked up to. He reached out. He was helping people. He helped this lady with her kids because they were going through a financial difficulty, and her kids wanted to play football. And he took them into his home. But what was he doing to them? He was molesting them. So now it's a thing of, I can't trust the people in the neighborhood because they take advantage of them. Even the teachers in the school, you got the teachers in the school now that's messing with these kids. The male teachers and the female teachers. So that trust is gone, and it's like, okay, well, I was molested as a child, not me personally, but this is what some of the parents are saying. I was molested as a child by somebody who my parents really trusted. And even if I would have went to this person, went to my parents and said, Mom, Mr. Jesse touched me, what are they going to say? No, you didn't. I don't believe that. You're lying. And what happens with the kid? Now they go into a shell. So now the parents grew up knowing that in the back of their mind. They say, well, you know what? I don't want people around my kids. So they keep their kids to themselves in hopes that you can teach them everything that they know. But I mean, we know as mature adults that you can't be around your child 24 hours a day.
It takes a village.
So that's why it takes a village to raise a child, because you're not going to be there. You need eyes outside your house. But the thing is, who do you trust?
But like, I don't know, I just remember, I certainly did my dirt, you know, growing up and sneaking out and, shut up, you know, going to the block parties when I wasn't supposed to, and, you know,
She was out and
sneaking
about.
off that
That was
porch.
you over there in the corner, did you
Girl,
turn the
I
light?
was in the light like, yo, but, you know, like, doing that, but I would only go so far because in the back of my head,
That whooping.
you know what I mean? Like, I
That
knew that
switch.
whooping, I knew morally, you know what I mean? Like, I had that foundation, I guess is my point.
Mhm.
There was a foundation instilled in me that I'm only going to push it, but so far. Like, no, I'm not coming in your basement, Malcolm, you know, with the red light. Like, I'm not doing none of that. You know what I mean? Shut up. But, you know what I mean? No, seriously, you know, like, I would only go but so far, you know, where I knew I could push it, but the respect and the morals that I had for myself, because that's what I saw. I had those role models. I was looking up the definition. I wasn't playing on my phone a few minutes ago. And it just basically says it's a noun, someone who another person admires and tries to be like. A person whose behavior in a particular role is, sorry y'all, my context, imitated by others.
I seen you make that screen big.
Yeah, girl, I did. But you know, like it's like I'm really passionate about this because it's crazy. So when we come back from the commercial break, we need to talk about how to change that, because I'm getting older. I'm just saying.
And to be honest, there are avenues and there are ways to just achieve what you just said, as far as changing the culture and as far as changing the mindset. You have to find a way to get more of us involved. And when I say us, I mean black men in our
Yes,
community.
absolutely.
I am not speaking about everybody else's community. I'm
Yes.
not speaking about
All right.
everybody else's culture. This one.
So
in
during the
particular.
commercial, let's think about that, and we'll be back.
Hi, I'm Marvin Lane with Remax Affiliates Northeast Philly. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, I would love to be the man to represent you. We have programs that are suited for each and every one of your needs. If you're a previous homeowner or a first-time home buyer. So remember, one call does it all. You can reach me at 267-546-8888 or look me up on the web at www.marvinlane.com, where you can search for a home, find out how much the house will cost you, and a few other things. You can take advantage of our mortgage calculator, which will help and assist you at figuring out your mortgage payment as well. Just remember, one call does it all. That's Marvin, the fast lane to home ownership. 267-546-8888. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Kenny Nelson, aka Kenny Spoon. Yeah, I'm still doing that music thing. But when I'm not doing music, I tune into Sadior's Open Conversation. That's right, www.sadior.com. www.sadior.com. Yeah, there's something there for everybody, and everybody can participate. It's worldwide, inquisitive, funny, and full of love for everyone. So check it out. www.sadior.com. All right. Peace.
me wanna leave it, sneaking wherever you are, yeah. 'Cause I'm in love with you, girl. You the key to my heart, girl. You are the one I've been looking for.
Back from commercial break, and I think, who's talking, you or Kath? Who wants to go? But you were so passionate about it.
No, that's serious, but you know what I mean? But
Well,
go ahead,
what I was saying was that there are ways to get us involved as far as our community, meaning black men, and at a younger age. And when I say at a younger age, I mean 20s, 30s. You don't have to wait until you're 50. You don't have to need propaganda. You don't have to have what they call a mentor type push over the radio or anything. You go out to the community and you ask and you talk. And like I can come to you and say, listen, do you have any time available? Right? I can see you talking and you busy and all the rest of that, and I come to you and we start up a conversation. I say, do you have any time available? Well, I'm not asking for 16 hours a week. I'm asking you for 2 hours, maybe 3 times a week, just to be around these kids and give them some of your mind. You don't have to show them everything that you got. You don't have to show them all of your prized possessions, but you need to give them some of your intellect.
and how you got those possessions.
Right, and you'd be surprised just how thirsty an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, even the ones that we listen to on the bus, the ones that are just out there, just like you feel as though they're unreachable. I news for you, you can reach them, but you have to be able to put in the work. And our problem is we think once we get off our 9 to 5, work day's over.
That's it.
But I had so much fun in those little 2 hours that I had with them little hard-headed kids. I just found that I had to go back. I had to reinvest. I had to put myself back in a position where, you know what? If it doesn't work with all of them, maybe it'll work with one. And I got so touched, not even long ago, about maybe 3 weeks ago, a kid recognized me in the store. He was like, "What's up, Coach Kevin?" I looked at him like, "Do I know you?" He was one of the first kids I had back in 1997. One of the very first kids. He says, I'm like, I didn't even recognize him. But see, I've seen so many. I probably coached over 1,000 kids. So
but like just you getting involved in that, like you said, even if you reach one child, there's one more child that won't be knocking you upside your head in that dark alley.
Yes.
Reach one, teach one.
Exactly, like it is. I don't, like me, I'm very passionate about young ladies and the way they carry themselves, and I can have fun, I can hang with the best of them, but there's a certain way I carry myself, and anybody that knows me can't do anything but respect me because I carry myself that way, because that's the way I was taught, And I grew up with mostly males and like a lot of uncles. I had one eye, and I have one eye, and she taught me the girly things, but my father and my uncles, they taught me how a young lady should act. I'm so grateful to them because of that, because I knew what to watch out for, but I knew how to, carry myself and not be out there all,
But see, to your point, our insistence that it's up to us, and I say this group of men here, it's up to us to reach back to brothers like him at a younger age. Because, let me tell you something, I got 3 daughters. One married. And I still look around and say, oh my gosh, what do the other 2 have to look forward to? Because this is getting out of control. This is almost reached epidemic proportions. It is getting out of control, the lack of respect and the lack of continuity that young brothers are facing as far as looking at life of the next person. They don't have any concern about it. They don't care. But you got to look. This is somebody that your daughter may be talking to. This is somebody that your daughter may be bringing home.
That's scary.
This is it is a real problem. And if men don't grab it by the horns and start looking these young boys in the face and tell them, little man, listen, you got to act a little bit better than that. You got to come better than that.
And
So
see,
let's
that's
up,
why I
that ain't
think
cute.
every chance you get an opportunity, no matter what the age, you should take the time to try to talk to a young brother. Like, the age shouldn't matter. I remember I talked to a young dude who's maybe like 25 that I worked with. And he didn't know me. We were working. He worked in one department, I worked in another. And he came in one night, he was like, I just had a baby boy. Well, the day before, he said I had a baby boy. So the next day I came in, like I said, we didn't really know each other. I came in, and I said, I need to talk to you. And he came over, he said, what's up? And I pulled out a bag. I said, this is for you. And he said, well, what's in the bag? I said, look in it. And I went to the store and I bought a basket for little kids things, Pampers, T-shirts, and stuff like that. And he was like, what's this? Like, you don't even know me. I said, look, you just had a baby. I don't know you, but this is an opportunity for me to talk to you because you just had a son. So you are in an important position because now you're going to be raising a young black man. And this is what you need to do in order to raise him. And we sat down, we had a conversation. And when we finished, he got up, he says, wow. He says, how do I pay you back for this? I said, the way you paid me back is what I just did for you, you sit down and do for somebody else. When they have a child, black boy or black little girl, whatever, and you do the same thing. You don't owe me anything but that.
Pay forward.
You know?
Do you guys think, as when he just said that, black child or whatever, do you think it's different in the Caucasian community than it is in a black community as far as,
No.
you know, role models or the way they're upbringing?
I think the stereotype years ago, somebody would say yes. But now, the different things that you see now, you know, they have just as many problems with their children as we do. So I don't think it's a color barrier there. What I think it is society, the things that they see in society, to think that, you know, I'm going to mimic that or imitate that. And whether it's a black man, white man, Chinese man, we still need to bring them all back in and do you know, the right thing by teaching. Reach one, teach one is the goal. And it doesn't matter the skin color because all children have problems. I don't think problem is defined to a race, creed, or religion. I think the problem is defined to a habit and behavior, and we have to correct that.
I think that a lot of what's going on, back in the 60s, back in the 50s and 60s, you had leaders like Malcolm, Martin, Jesse Jackson, guys that were known in the public eye, that people looked at as role models. And I think today, you still have Al Sharpton out there, you still have Minister Farrakhan, you still have Jesse Jackson, but I think a lot of guys are looking for the next big person to step up. Who's going to be the next big person? But in all reality, realistically, it starts on the front line with guys like us. It starts on the front line. So when we step out there and we step to make a change in some of these young guys' lives, and I say the guys more than anything because it's the young black males that are more misguided than any other ethnic background. Our young black men, we're so caught up in fashion and who's got what and I want more than him, that they're a generation that's on the brink of destruction and being destroyed by themselves. That if we don't, you know, look within ourselves and say, you know what, even if I can just reach one, you know, and change the life of one, then I've done something. I've started there. Because if you talk to one and he talked to one, well, guess what? Your words just reached two other people. So, and if we live by that, and if we go out and just talk to a child, one child a day, if you can't do no more than that, and you could be, it could be in passing, it could be on a bus, it could be, you know, at the corner store, it could be at a basketball game, you could be watching a pickup game at the playground. If you just pull one to the side and talk to him for about 5 minutes, you may have just made an impact on this child's life because there may not be another man that's actually talking to them.
Well, kids gravitate towards the wrong things. Like, for example, you said about basketball. Like Tim Duncan, if you know anything about basketball, Tim Duncan, one of the greatest forwards in the game, don't have no endorsements. Then you got somebody like Kevin Garnett that hollers and screams that he make one shot. No, Tim Duncan is boring. He'll make a layup, just run down court, don't say nothing. He don't get no endorsements. The guy that's howling and screaming or pulling, pulling his pants down, he's being endorsed, and that's what kids gravitate towards. They're not going to gravitate towards the good guy. They're going to gravitate towards the guy that's,
But the reason that they
Tim Duncan is better than all of them, but they don't want to see him.
That goes back to someone that said it earlier about the teaching and upbringing in a home. I mean, I have a 21-year-old son. I'm a single mom. And I'm not going to sit here and say that my parenting was 100% perfect. No one is. You learn it as you go, right? But when I found my son gravitating to those things, his thing was wrestlers. He wanted to make the money like the wrestlers, or then it became football. He's a big football fan. And then we had our little spat with the neighborhood drug dealer. I did exactly what you said. He had a situation where one of his friends was shot in the head. And he was with his partner, and his partner got in the car and drove himself to the hospital and left the friend there. I exposed my son to that as opposed to closing the door, because I want you to see what this side of that life is like. It's an opportunity for me to share with him the adult side. One of the things that I live by, and I always say this, not only to him, but to all the young men that the Lord has blessed me with, is you cannot have grown folk privileges without grown folk responsibilities. Like, it just don't happen like that. Whether it's the drugs, the negative side of being an adult, or whether it's the right side and being a hard worker in life. And Kevin, you had said something earlier about, the men holding all the responsibility and where we're at right now. And I agree, but I also, being a single mom, I want to put it on the women too. Because I feel like men only do as much as we allow them to do. If I'm spending my food stamp card on you, and you ain't getting up going to work, then what I'm putting a dude just lay around.
That's right.
If I'm going to sacrifice the safety and welfare of my children just for the sake of this dude to say that I got a man, then that right there, those nonverbals is what I'm teaching my children.
Right. You know what, now that you said that, like, there's so many, that's high fives all around, right? But there's so many women who are doing exactly that, letting these
I can name
dudes
five, but
lay
because
up.
I love y'all, I won't shout y'all out like that.
We're not editing that out either. But there's so many, like, girls women too, like, that are so thirsty for a dude that they settle and they don't think about what they bringing around their kids. Is that right? I'm sorry.
One of the old sayings was that good girls want a bad guy, and a bad girl want a good guy.
That's true.
Good girl want a guy that's in the street and getting fast money. Bad girl want a college educated man. And society has twisted that so much that a lot of women see these guys sitting around doing nothing, and just to put a claim on a title to say, this is my dude, my boo, my whatever,
right,
I'm going to allow him to take my income tax check and just do whatever he wants to do. When you got 2-3 children over here suffering.
Yes.
And seeing that dude, that drug dealer, or he 40, 50 years old trying to be a rapper with braids and a receiving haircut. Like, seriously?
Shut the front
what is
door,
that
girl.
about?
See, again, to what he was saying about the negativity, right? People generate to the negativity. Like, for instance,
I was going to go there, but go ahead.
this guy on the Seahawks with all the mouth.
Richard Sherman.
Now,
He get more publicity.
he get more publicity
But, okay.
and more endorsements than anything else.
That's
now.
nice.
But
But what
none
are
of the
y'all
good guys
doing to say, hey, son,
See,
that's not a good look. That's not cute.
It
That's
comes
not
back
like.
on us, yes.
But
See,
here's the
that's
thing,
what I'm saying, because it's not
here's the
cute.
thing, here's
It's
the thing
not
with that. It's not cute, it's not acceptable in the sports world, as you would say, but it's highlighted by people who are throwing money around. Because what they do not tell you about Richard Sherman is that he's a $3.8 GPA graduate from 3.9 GPA graduate with a master's from Stanford University, that he is the best in the business at what he does. They call him a thug, but yet they turn around and say, like I saw this on one of our posts. Right. They call him he urinating in a bucket and
eggs on the neighbor's
Oh,
house.
that's a whole
but wait a
other
minute,
show.
but they call
Yes.
him somebody that's misguided, right? But yet they'll say Richard Sherman is a thug.
Yeah.
Why is he a thug?
Society, that's society.
But that's the stereotypical avenue that they give because of his dreads, his bravado, you know, the fact that he's in sports, the fact that he's highlighted in front of millions and millions of people.
Then it goes back to what you were saying. It's our job to teach our children the difference.
Right. And
Exactly.
And what we need to do in the house is men on point, you know, the ones that are on the front line. Listen, he can do that. He can talk like that. But check out where he got to be able to talk like that.
There you go.
He got that 3.9 GPA.
Yes.
He has a master's.
So let me throw
He
this
goes
out.
back into the community and help more disenfranchised and more or less fortunate children.
So I'm gonna say this. I just at this point want to go around and find out one thing from each of you fine men up here.
Hello.
Okay. I ain't got nothing to do with all that down there. Hello,
Wait a minute.
what one thing from you that you think either you could do or as a community we can do, the women too, to help change that? I'm gonna start with Cal.
It was designed to be a helpmate.
The first thing I would say is that as a male, we need to reach out more, have some type of structure, some type of platform that we can wheel kids in, because a lot of times, a lot of these children are bored. So if we give them something to do, that we can deliver that positive message, then we're helping them along the way. If we just abandon them and let them go out and play the video games and stand on the corner and just hang out and do the negative things, then we're not helping our situation. So what we need to do is set up some type of platform, set up some type of forum that we can invite them out, if not once a week, once a month, something that we can give back to show them, hey, listen, you come here once a month, we're going to try to teach you this, teach you that, and make it fun for them, because kids like fun and activities. And I think if we focus on that, we'll be fun.
I think that one thing that kids don't do a lot of now is go to church. I mean, when you start to go to church, your personality starts to change. I've learned that because as a kid, I used to go to church, and then I stopped going. And when I stopped going, I started getting into the wrong type of things. Then as I got older, I started going back into church, and now I'm going into positive things. So I think that if you can get the kids to go to church, just take the time for an hour and a half, listen to the preacher, listen to everything, your personality starts to change towards positive. Not
Double high
just
five,
watching a football
boo.
game.
Yes. Boom.
It's gonna be hard to get them there, but you gotta get them.
I think, again, everyone should take that opportunity to teach one. If you get an opportunity to talk to somebody, talk to them. It doesn't matter what it's about. Just have a positive conversation with somebody, and it just might change and pick them up and allow them to do the same thing for somebody else.
Mr. Lane.
No, I'll
You wanna go
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means he's gonna drop it on y'all when we come back.
Oh,
No, Mr. Lane did.
I honestly think that you have to grow with the young men, and I think that older gentlemen need to, as myself, we need to talk to the age bracket of 20, 30, and teach them the respect and responsibility of what it is to go back and teach the younger ones. I also believe that achievement is a whole lot better than obtaining. So if we can instill that message that it's a whole lot better and a whole lot more rewarding and gratifying that if you achieve something as opposed to just getting it from your parents or somebody handing it to you, growth will be acceptable.
Okay. I'm gonna speak from the younger generation. But I think we should just listen more, because it's been a couple of times where I have I call all older people OGs. That's just me. All right, so OG would approach maybe I'm with one of my friends. He would come and approach us and he would talk to us. He would come talk to us, and my friend he wouldn't listen. You know, they'll spit knowledge. They'll tell us, hey, you know, I've been through it. You know, I've been through it.
Right.
And we, as young men, we just don't listen. So we just need to be more open-minded and understand that we're not the first people to go through struggles. We're not the first people to do things. You know, it's men before us who went through these things, and we need to pay attention. We need to learn.
Amen.
Yes.
Now listen.
Spit that now.
Well, one of the things that I currently do and will continue to do is I'm a mentor. I use my life as an example. I'm an open book, and I'm more partial to the young men. I take the time out to listen. I hear their concerns. I'm not quick to respond to a question. I like to digest, process it, allow them the opportunity to get it out, because 9 times out of 10, the solution is already down in them. They just need someone to help them process it. And just be a venue for kids to vent and bounce ideas off. I'm always pushing education and church and the improvement and the equality of your life. We kind of touched on it earlier, myself and Calvin, about not being a product of your environment. Because you were born in the ghetto or the hood does not mean that that's the mentality you have to carry with you into your adult life. The choice is yours. And I remind the young men that I talk to that it doesn't matter what mama and daddy are doing or are not doing. It's really what you do. You have the choice to control your destiny and the outcome of your future. So, yeah, boom, high five. Boom. I feel like a group hug going on.
I think I said everything, and I've said in some of our past shows that. Sorry about that. If I see somebody doing something, a young person doing something, you know, I'm a person that speaks out. It's hard for me. I don't have a filter, some people say. Shake your head, yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, you know, of course I think about my health and my safety and all of that stuff, but if it's wrong, it's wrong. And you know, I take opportunities, and that's what I would say to people. Take those opportunities to use to teach that, like Calvin said, you know, teach one. If you just say it to one, you know, you never know. You may make a difference in their life, you might not, but at least you're doing something, you know. And I'm like so with Calvin on, you know, we're going to talk about what Calvin does in his, not his business world, but his own company a little later. But like I would love for open conversation in his company to do something where we're giving back to the community, whatever it is. So we will be working on that. That's all I got. Just plain.
Well, the one way that I know works effectively with people is you have to meet people on their level. Mm-hmm. You have to go out and you have to reach out to them on their level and their environment. It's something that they like doing. So if it's a basketball game, go to the basketball game. If they like hanging out on the corner, go stand out on the corner with them. Go meet them on their field. Because in order to get them to your world, you must first come into their world. And once you go into their world, you can grab them and you can hug them and you can pull them out of that world. So until the next time on Open Conversation, we thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all. Peace.
Today we want to talk about men and relationships. She can't.
I can't wait.
I'm kind of excited too. I just want to know.
Damn. Yeah.
Inquiring minds want to know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sure there's a lot you want to know.
Here we are, back together again. It's time to talk about the issues at hand. Say what you say. Say what you say. Just say what you feel. It's a door. And we're gonna keep it real. It's an open conversation.